Good morning, my wonderful audience and faithful and true people. I thank you so much for being a part of us this morning. My name is Rich Wallace, and you have joined an episode of Strictly Business. As we moving forward here today, we've got some guests coming in, so stay tuned. Don't leave. This is Strictly Business, sponsored by the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, EdgeTvNetwork.net, to be a part of what we're doing here on Strictly Business. So stay tuned. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back with our first guest for today.
Business owners are raving about the new talk show, Strictly Business, with host Rich Wallace. Tune in as the top experts in business share their success stories, strategies, guidance, and advice to help you grow your business. With guests from the top companies to your favorite influencers, Strictly Business with host Rich Wallace is the show to watch for all things business. Our conversations are strictly business. We discuss new funding options, new business initiatives, best business practices, all things business explained. We provide you with the tips you need for your business, all in one morning business talk show. Be sure to tune in. Are you a business owner? Do you have a story to share? Are you able to help our audience? Then we want you on Strictly Business with host Rich Wallace. Visit the website at EdgeTvNetwork.net and select Be a Guest to schedule your appearance today.
Good news for the Southern California business community. Now you can add your business to the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce Business Directory free. We've been working tirelessly to build a list of Black-owned enterprises in Southern California. This is an excellent way for you to be a part of an expansive network and find your ideal customers, business partners, and vendors. So don't waste time. Visit blackchamberofcommerce.org today and add your business today.
And we're back. So one of the things that we really want you to do is to go to the blackchamberofcommerce.org website, click on directory, and add your business to our directory. We're going to have our first guest on right now. I call him Brother Bill, but he calls himself Brother Bill, the New Orleans Bill Potato Salad, Brother William Washington. Hey, welcome, Brother Bill. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Good morning, Rich.
Good morning, sir. I want to have you on again. I think we talked once before, but we were talking about merchandising, getting products in the store. You have been successful in getting your product in more than one actual store. And the journey has, I know, been tough. You've had to revamp some stuff and get some other things together. So if there's an entrepreneur out there that's trying to figure out how to get my stuff in Walmart, is that really a valuable thing for most products today? And how was your experience with that? First, I want you to tell who you are, where you come from, and all of that. I just jump right in because I know time is tough. So Brother Bill, can you tell us first of all who you are and what you do, and then we can get into how the products get in the store.
Okay. Washington, owner of New Orleans Bill Creole Salads and Foods Company for the past 25 years. I was wholesaling my New Orleans Creole potato salads to major supermarkets, Albertsons, Walmart, Costco, Vines, Ralph's, Safeway, Lucky's, Jewel supermarkets in Chicago, most of the major supermarkets in the state of California and on the West Coast. And at one point, my New Orleans Creole potato salad was the fastest selling food item in Albertsons deli history up in the San Francisco Bay Area. And it's a tough business. It's very competitive getting into supermarkets. But once you lay your foundation, your business foundation, get your costs, your marketing, your budgeting, and you learn the supermarket game, then you can play it. But what I see is a lot of people who they just jump right into the game, the supermarket game, without really knowing how the game is played. And it's just like being a basketball player, and all of a sudden they throw you on a soccer field, and you might be talented, but if you don't know the game, you can't play it. After 25 years, I decided to expand my product line from a ready-to-eat Creole potato salads to a quick and easy Creole potato salad mix to get in line with today's world, where you need to be able to ship a product, either ship it to the stores unrefrigerated if possible, or sell it online unrefrigerated. So I converted my salad into a Creole potato salad quick and easy mix, where all one does is microwave a potato. You throw it in a bowl with my mix. My mix has the yellow onions, green onions, bell peppers, salt, pepper, Creole spices in it. You add a little dab of mayonnaise, and in less than 15 minutes, you have my award-winning Creole potato salad. So now I'm trying to get that back into the stores, as a replacement for my ready-to-eat Creole potato salad. The supermarket industry has changed since the pandemic. A lot of people who were in decision-making positions at the supermarkets are no longer there. And it's almost like, even though I've got 25 years experience selling to the supermarkets, it's like I'm starting over again, all over again. But at the same time, e-commerce has really opened up for food. And it seems like almost everything is done online now. I mean, there are sites online where you can put your product, and the supermarket decision makers will see it. You don't even have to go in and do a presentation to them. You can just put it online, and if they like it, the ball will start rolling with them from there. There's also Amazon, there's eBay, there's Shopify. I mean, there's so many different arenas now that weren't there before when I started, where you can sell. So I tell everyone, and I'm an ex-accountant, so I'm a little biased toward knowing your numbers. I tell everyone I advise, you have to lay your business foundation first. Yeah, you get a lot of acclaim and a lot of joy from everyone telling you how good your food tastes and how great it is. But the behind the scenes work is really what's going to make your business go. You've got to know your numbers. You don't have to be an accountant, but you've got to know your numbers. You got to be able to understand projections. You have to be able to see where your business is going numbers wise. And you
So,
have
Bill,
to be
when you talk numbers, I mean, you're a potato salad guy. Okay, you were fortunate enough to be in the accounting business for a while. But when you talk numbers, most people, if I was going to create a potato salad or any kind of thing, or cookie or anything, how would I know the numbers? Are you saying how much it costs you to make each one? Do I have to break it down? What does that mean to the average guy that has not been in accounting, but just has a good product? And how would he be able to budget? And then we want to talk about that transition. And maybe next time we'll have a microwave near here and we can demonstrate on how that works.
well, numbers wise, you have to know. First thing is you have to know your costs, what it costs you to make it, and you have to know all the costs. Most people, when they collect their costs to make a product, they don't collect all the costs. The electricity, the water you use, if you have employees, if you're paying them $15 an hour, you're really paying them $15 an hour plus Social Security, employment, taxes, and all that. That's $15 an hour can be $17 an hour. You include. You have to be able to project. Well, you really need an accountant, because you have to be able to project. Let's say today you're starting at $5,000 a month in sales, and your business can handle that as far as production goes. But let's say if you're getting one of these major supermarkets, that $5,000 a month in sales could turn into $50,000 a month in sales. And can your business support that? Can you scale up to produce enough to make that 50,000? And your budget marketing, do you have money in your budget for marketing, which is another place where I see a lot of small businesses fail. They don't allocate enough money in their budget marketing. If you can have the greatest product in the world, but if you can't market it to where people know about it, then it doesn't do you any good. You have to have money in your budget for marketing. Fortunately, there are a lot of agencies in the LA area that provide you free business because they don't want people to know that they don't know business. So they don't go to these free consulting agencies. And when you go to them, you got to check your ego at the door, because they're going to say things to you that you don't know. And you can't sit down there and act like you know what they're talking about when you don't really know. And that's going to harm your business. But I tell everyone, you don't need an accountant just for the taxes, which is another thing. A lot of people think, I got an accountant to do things that I just mentioned, that you have to have a working knowledge of. Again, you don't have to be an accountant, but you have to have a working knowledge of how these numbers flow. Otherwise, you're almost like the dog chasing its tail, where eventually what you don't know numbers-wise will catch up to you.
So we had a business strategist on yesterday, and she was talking about the budgeting and the marketing. It's almost like between the business strategy person that we had on Nikisha Bond yesterday, and now you're telling us this is if I don't have enough capital, let's say we've done the business plan and we need $50,000, $100,000 to start. Is it foolish to start with 10? If my business plan says I got to have a marketing budget, I got to have an accounting budget, I got to have a payroll budget, but all I got is 10 grand and I can't spread that out because, as you mentioned, $15 an hour, I think minimum wage is now 20 or 19 or something ridiculous like that. And I don't want to say ridiculous because people need to make money, but for the entrepreneur, if I was in the restaurant business for a lot of years, if I had to pay a person $20 an hour, I couldn't raise the price of the chicken. I couldn't raise the price of the biscuits. And I had rent for $5 grand. So I had 5 stores at $5,000 a piece a month and rent plus over 100 employees. All of these things, when I started, I did not have a budget for any of that. I figured out how much I needed to make at lunch and how much I needed to make at breakfast. And those were the goals that I chose. And I know a lot of small entrepreneurs think advertising or boosting on Facebook is advertising. It's announcements as opposed to real advertising. And I noticed that a lot of minority businesses are not prepared or understand the value of what you just said. You could have the best product in the world, but if you can't get the word out, no one knows. And I know social media is great. It's a great platform, but old school wise, it's basically a lit up billboard on the freeway, so to speak, So do you start with, if you don't have enough money and believe that you're going to make enough sales? Is that the struggle, or is that just plain foolishness?
Well, I don't like to tell anyone they shouldn't try, but the numbers will tell you what you can do and what you can't do. But then sometimes you have to think outside the box and work within the parameters of what you have. But you can hustle. A lot of times your hustle can make up for what you don't have. I'll give you an example. In the Los Angeles area, there are tons of events going on where you can promote your product and sell your product. And if you look at the numbers correctly, there are ways to cut down on your costs. Recently, we just had the Taste of Soul event in Los Angeles, and 1,000 people there. And a lot of the food vendors, they had a lot of sales, but their expenses were really high because you had to rent a booth. You got the health department permits because you have to have you have to have two health permits. You've got your employees because the crowd is so big. You can't just do that event by yourself. You got the cost of your products, and all that can eat up your profits. But what I did was, since that event, I have been forming this coalition of African American owned food product companies. And what we're going to do is, instead of each one of us doing all these different events where we can promote and sell our products, and we have to eat all these expenses, we're forming together and we're going to jointly do events. Instead of me doing I think it's this weekend, there's this big Halloween event. I can't think of the name of it in LA. But instead of, let's say, me doing that event by myself and 5 other Black food companies are joining together in one boot, and during the event. That way we cut our expenses down by 4/5. What would cost me $1,000 to this event, you divide that by 5, it cost me $200. Now I might not make as much money because I won't be the only one in the booth, but when you figure I've reduced my expenses from $1,000 down to 200, I've got a better chance at doing that. And then when you multiply that by doing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 30 events, I come out ahead. And also you have more of a presence in the marketplace. If you're just one booth with one product, yeah, that's your baby and you think it's great, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But people will notice you more if you're in a booth with 5 other great products. They will notice you more. So part of it's called guerrilla marketing, and then to me, it's just called plain hustle.
Common sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
when you talk about partnering with people, that's great, because if you think about it, I mean, chicken houses have now started selling chicken in gas stations.
yep.
They're looking for partners. I bought some gas at a Shell station. There was a taco place and a chicken place that was inside of the gas station, and they had full kitchens on both sides. So paying that rent, I know when I was in the restaurant business, like I say, my rent was $5,000 a month. Had I had someone else in there selling something else, then I could have cut that rent down a little bit, and it wouldn't have been such a strain, even on the employee costs. So partnering is a good thing, and we might take that list that you have of Black food vendors and just list them on the Black Chamber website, so that people will know where the Black food vendors are. A lot of times, I have mainstream businesses that go to our website, that go to the chamber directory, and they're looking for Black entrepreneurs or Black caterers, or these kinds of things. And it's a well-kept secret that New Orleans Bill is out there. And I
Yeah.
talk about it all the time. I was when you were in Smart and Final. I think I used to pick it up out of Smart and Final and take it to other parties, and people would go, "This got a little spice to it. Where you get it from?" And I say, "Oh, this friend of mine got this." So we have to promote each other within ourselves, and put families out there, and eating our potato salad and other things. So as you go through the marketing transformation, and you mentioned understanding the grocery store game, is that a complicated situation, or do you have to, because a lot of people, oh, Walmart, I'm in Walmart now, Walmart, I'm going to be rich. But I remember having a conversation with you had to buy all of the stuff and then give it to Walmart and wait to get paid. Was that the way that worked?
Well, yeah. Well, I use what's called co-packers, which is you can pay companies to manufacture your product. Like in my case, there are companies out there that are already making salads, and they're all set up with all the big machinery and equipment to do it. So I just take my recipe. I just took my recipe to them and worked out a deal with them to manufacture my salads at the same time they were manufacturing theirs. Now you have to cover yourself legally because you're giving someone else your recipe, which is another issue that small companies have. They don't want to give up their recipe to another company to make it. But you can do some legal things. They're called non-disclosure agreements or a non-compete agreement, whereby the company that you give your recipe to has agreed to not copy it and not to compete, not to make the same product and compete with you. But realistically, I mean, those agreements they're really not worth the paper they're written on. If I pay Rich to make my salads for me, and Rich has a cousin in New York, Rich sends my recipe to his cousin in New York and tells him, hey man, why don't you make this salad under a different name? Then there's nothing I can do about it. But if you don't have the money, you've got to take some chances. And you pay these co-packers. And in my case, I pay the co-packer to manufacture my product. And I don't have to deal with employees. I don't have to deal with manufacturing. I pay them to make my product, to ship my product. You can even pay them to bill the supermarkets, collect the money from the supermarkets. And then at the end of each month, they give me my money. Now, you've got to have a handle on how much your cost is and how much money you're supposed to be getting in your sales. But again, that's where knowing the numbers or having a relationship with an accountant comes in. But that way, you free up your time. Instead of being in that factory manufacturing, you're out doing marketing and sales and dealing with the supermarkets. And the supermarkets, it's not rocket science dealing with them. Like I said before, you just have to understand the way they play the game. Some supermarkets, they like your product. They may try and well, let's just say negotiate with you price-wise, where they may not give you the price that you want. But before you go in there, you have to know what's the bottom line price that you will accept from them, that they'll pay you, that you're willing to accept from them for your product, and know the ramifications of, oh, okay, well, if I have to cut my price down by 10% to the supermarkets, what is that gonna do to my ability to make money? And then a lot of it also, it just comes down to what do you want from being in business? Do you want to be a millionaire? Do you want to be a billionaire? Do you want to just be able to quit your job? Or do you just want to do this as a hobby, or you just want some side money? You have to know that up front, and then that will determine what you do and how and who you go after. Because there's so many supermarkets and places to sell food these days. And as I was saying before, you can hustle your way to a decent income selling food, but you have to understand the business aspect and the numbers. And in California, you have to have you have to meet with an attorney before you do anything to make sure you're covered legally. Because in California, people sue. And you have all these attorneys out here, with all due respect to attorneys, you have a surplus of attorneys out here. And some attorneys will take any case whatsoever just to try and get a settlement out of somebody. But I guess it's all called business.
Well, it's all called business now. And I say so many times, and listening to what you're saying, is that it's all business, but you sell potato salad. You even have a couple of cookie brands that you put out. But all of the things that you're telling me about, I need an attorney, I need a bookkeeper, these fees that I haven't even sold one bucket of potato salad yet. And I need to put all of these things in place. And it's tough to make a suggestion legally for anyone. There are, what do you call them, the prepaid legal people, or do you need your own private attorney on retainer? Do you need to copyright? Can you go to LegalZoom and figure it out? Or is is that overwhelming to the average person? The tax and the numbers things are just overwhelming to me. Is that I got to figure out of this one package of potato salad mix, the packaging costs me one thing, and depending on where I get it packaged at, because the paper, the ink, and all of that, the writing on it, the designing of the package, somebody's got to
Mm-hmm.
design it.
Mm-hmm.
The graphic person, the all of these other pieces that come in to your business plan, and most people's business plan is that I'm going to open up on this corner, and all I need is 10 people to come in here and do this and do that. But the insurance on the building, the insurance on you, the insurance on the potato salad, all of these different pieces out of pocket. Generally, do you need $10,000 just in paperwork to start?
Well, the experts, quote, experts say, yes, you do. But again, hustle can
Hustle.
overcome the lack of a lot of that, where if you know how much, it's just like your personal home budget. If you know how much money you have to spend during the month at home, it's the same thing with business. You know how much you have to spend on business. You know, if you spend more than that, you're going to lose money. So you just have to, you can take advantage of, as I mentioned before, these free business consulting services. There's, if I can remember the names correctly, there's Vermont Slauson, and I'm speaking of the ones in LA, Vermont Slauson Business Consulting. There's Lindustry. There's the Small Business Development Center. And all these guys they have accountants on staff that'll help you for free. They have marketing people that'll help you for free. They have legal. In most cases, they don't have a lawyer on staff, but they have access to free legal consulting. I mean, all this stuff is out there, but you have to hustle to find it. It's not like you're going to make one phone call and all of a sudden all the dots are going to line up. No, you got to hustle. You might have to make 5 or 6 or 7 phone calls to find this stuff, but it's out there for free. But you have to be able to understand what they're telling you, which is something I found out a lot of people don't do. Because I used to be a business consultant for the city of San Francisco Entrepreneurship Center for those trying to get into the food business. And one thing I found out was, like you said, a lot of people think they just got to open up a business on the corner and start selling and making money. And they don't understand you have to have that foundation. You don't have to be an expert in business, but you have to understand what you have, what you don't have, and what you need. You have to be able to understand that, because you may start off making money. I mean, you may get lucky and people just start buying from you. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have all these things in place, you're just 9 times out of 10, you're just not going to make it. And for instance, just the restaurant business, I think it's 9 out of 10 restaurants fail. That's an established fact.
Tough business. I just had a friend close their restaurant up after maybe 3 years of fighting and trying to make it work, dealing with employees, dealing with city, dealing with legal stuff. And these folks had money, and mm-hmm. they opened up a nice place, and was hoping the community would support them and all of this kind of thing. And then had to change the menu a couple times because the cook didn't do this and didn't do mm-hmm. that. There's so many different variables that doesn't have anything to do with the vision of making potato salad. As you mm-hmm. say, here at the Black Chamber of Commerce, you can get SCORE, which is a group that comes out for free.
Yeah.
And they will counsel you and talk to you. But how does an entrepreneur start a business with this great vision and this excitement and this hustle. And when you sit down with attorneys and bookkeepers, I mean, they're draining that hustle out of you every time they say something. Oh, you're going to need $2,000 for an accounting program, and you're going to need this, and the lawyers. And you're telling me that I have to protect myself, that I need this, and all of the things that you're telling me to get started is decreasing my attitude of even starting a business. I am motivated. I got my retirement. I'm willing to mortgage my house, which is a big mistake in most cases, but people do that because they need that big kick of funding, and they think, oh, I can pay it back, this and that, and they wind up living in an apartment later on. But how is it that you can keep my hustle mindset? Because I'm a mind guy and I walk in faith pretty much. If it's in my head, I think I can make it happen, and I can do this and I can do that. I did the opposite of what you said. I opened up a restaurant, but I did franchises. I bought a franchise and I wound it up with 8 of them actually. And it was a little overwhelming because I could manage the one from home. I had cameras, it was this, we were doing an average of $20,000 a day kind of thing, so I'm making a little bit of money after I pay my bills. And then I bought another one and I bought another one. Well, now I'm at 8 stores, over 150 employees, and it was overwhelming. And then I had to go out and hire attorneys, and all of the money that I thought I was making was consumed in paperwork. The franchise tax is, people don't really understand the tax money that you charge 2 pennies or 6 cents on a dollar or whatever it is. That's not even your money. You're being paid to collect that money, and at the 20th of each month or whenever it is, you're requested to take all of that money that you took in and send it to somebody that didn't have anything to do with making potato salad.
Yeah, it's called business. That's all. That's all business. But I tell people, number one, do your research. Whatever you're getting into, and most of the advice I'm talking about is relative to the food business. Do your research. There's different types of food businesses you can do. You can do a restaurant, like you said, where you have all these employees and you're dealing with the public. Or there's, in my case, food wholesale, where you can manufacture your product and sell it to the supermarkets. You can get a co-packer to manufacture your products for you, so you don't have to deal with making the products, buying the ingredients for the product, packaging the product, shipping the product. You can pay a co-packer to do all that, which also means you don't need those employees to do it. I mean, at some point you will need an employee or two, but a co-packer, you wind up using their staff. There's e-commerce now, where you have a product, you can just sell it online. You put it online, people like it, you sell it to them, you ship it to them, you collect the money. You don't even have to talk to the public. There's fairs and festivals. There's events. Like I said, the Taste of Soul, 300,000 people. You get a booth, it's a one-day event, 300,000 people. I'm sorry,
Is that too many people? Is 300,000 people too many people to even deal with? They're coming at you one after another one. Is that too many people?
No, it's not. It depends, number one, on what you're selling. Is what you're selling relative to that demographic that's at that event? Number two, do you have the staff to handle that bigger crowd? And then also, can you market your product, which is another arena I haven't really touched on. Can you market your product to where it's attractive to the people in that crowd? Because you can have the greatest product in the world, and there's can be 1 million people there, but if you don't market it correctly, they won't even notice you.
And what would be correctly and take that incident at the at that particular event? What is marketing correctly? Those people are coming out of their cars? Did you do a pre-promotion or something, or?
What the Taste of Soul, the first thing is everybody knows it's a food event. It's so-called soul food, a lot of New Orleans food, soul food. And nowadays, a lot of seafood, especially from a Spanish standpoint. There was a Spanish food booth there. Well, I shouldn't say Spanish food, a Spanish culture booth. And what they did was, I mean, it's the same food someone else may be selling, but what they did was they did their tent, like you'd see a tent on an island, like you go to the Caribbean or somewhere, and they have these tents right by the ocean, and it's open, and people can walk up and they can see all the food. They can see the people in the back preparing the food, and it kind of puts their food in a different genre, so to speak, where you're not buying this food at the Taste of Soul. It's almost like you're on an island, a Caribbean island, and you walk up there and you're buying the seafood, and that puts it all in a different category. And like in my case, potato salad is not a sexy, jazzy, exciting product, but I do New Orleans Creole potato salad. But let me say this also, because I was born and raised in New Orleans, and that's the food of my culture. But when you put the New Orleans name on potato salad, all of a sudden, it's not just potato salad, it's New Orleans food, and it gets their attention. But then at the Taste of Soul, you have to understand, you're marketing your product the right way, but at that event, the event is five or six blocks long on Crenshaw. And the lines at the food booths, the people selling food plates, fried fish plates, barbecue plates, soul food plates, those lines are a mile long. And the people come to this event looking to eat food there. So if I'm selling a Creole potato salad, quick and easy mix that you have to take home and prepare, even though it only takes you 10 minutes to prepare it, they're looking at, I want to get that New Orleans Bill Creole potato salad mix, but I'm going to come back to it. So I'm going to go down here and get this plate of fried catfish, and then I'm going to come back. But again, they might walk 2 blocks down and get that long line. They're not coming back. Exactly. So what I did, the samples I was giving out, and that's another thing, you got to be willing to sample your food. If you sample somebody something, people are thinking, man, that ice cream or that whatever sure looks good, but I don't know if I want to pay $6 for it. But if you let them sample it, then they're like, oh, this is good. Okay, give me one of those. So what I did was, when I'm sampling my salad for my mixes, I started selling it. Instead of just giving out the samples, I would package my salad into 1/2 pound containers that people could eat on the spot. And all of a sudden, man, this stuff started selling like crazy because they were able to eat it on the spot. And it's still New Orleans Bill Creole potato salad mix company, but also Creole potato salad they could eat on the spot. So you have to be able to understand your market, where you are, what you can do, but then market it in a way where you don't become a flea market. Don't try and sell Creole potato salad, New York coleslaw, Texas green beans, whatever.
Yeah, I gotta watch which one you want. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much out there. People are gonna forget. But if you find your niche and you promote your niche, we're selling New Orleans Creole potato salad mixes. The product used to be sold in the supermarkets as a ready-to-eat salad. That's our niche. We're selling that. That's what we do. That's what we market. And you stick to that niche, and people will remember you. I'm getting orders now from the Taste of Soul. We didn't make a lot of money at the Taste of Soul, but we got that exposure.
And that's one of the things that small businesses don't get sometimes. They'll buy a booth at an expo or an event, and they'll go out and they go, I'm not going to do that again because I didn't sell anything. They forget the leads and the follow-up and that process that you have to do. I want to ask you, though, quickly, I've noticed in supermarkets, the shelves seem to be emptier and emptier every time I go back. They don't seem to be adding more product. Is food going to be recession proof because the mainstream news media, the gas is going up, the recession, even in the grocery stores, they limit the amount of the different types of potato salad uh, that are in the store. It used to be maybe 3 brands. I see you and 2 other brands. Now there's only 1 brand. Are grocery stores pulling away from stocking the shelves now? Have you noticed that?
Well, it depends on who you talk to. My personal opinion, based on 25 plus years experience in dealing with the stores, is, and I haven't done any concrete research on it, but the pandemic really did a even bigger job on the economy than people realize. Number one, you hear about businesses can't find workers. Okay, if you can't find workers, who's going to produce the food? Who's going to work in the factory to make it? That's one instance. And then number two, like in LA, the ports, LA and Long Beach together, I think are the biggest ports in the country. And they got backed up during the pandemic. And if your product, you're in New York or you're in China and you're shipping your product to LA Long Beach port to be distributed across the US, and the ship it's on is backed up in the Pacific Ocean, the product can't get to the store. And if it can't get to the store, it has a domino effect on people like companies like me. Okay, the Chinese or the New York companies can't get their product to the stores. They're sitting at the port. They can't take that product all the way back to China or New York. What are they going to do? They're going to store it in a food storage place in the LA area. And these are huge companies. So what they do, they take up all the food storage warehouse space in the LA area. Small companies like me who make my product, we make our product or have companies make it. I've got to store it somewhere. All of a sudden, I can't store the product. I have nowhere to store the product. So I can't sell it to the stores. I can't go to the stores and say, well, look, I have this new Creole potato salad mix. And the stores tell me, okay, Bill, we want 5,000 spicy. We want 5,000 mild, 5,000 family size, 10,000 individual size. We want that every week for the next 6 weeks. I have to buy in bulk to be able to supply that, to provide that. But if I have nowhere to store it, I can't provide the stores with it. I can't manufacture it and provide the stores with it. So that product doesn't get to the shelves. Now you multiply that by, well, there's probably 5,000 or 6,000 companies with products in the stores. You multiply my situation by all of them, and you can see why the store shelves are empty. Now, you can get into conspiracy theories.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
And I'm going to say this. It's something I've heard. Okay, I don't know. I haven't done any research on it, but who owns the big companies in this country? Generally, it's the Republicans. The Republicans supported the previous president. The new regime comes in, new president comes in, which is a different party, the Democrats, and they don't want the Democrats and the new president to look good. So what's the best way to have them, the new president, and the Democrats not look good? Okay, inflation, prices go up, a lack of available products. I mean, when you really think about it, and it's an age of conspiracies, it's something that people really need to think about, because who else is in charge of the economy? The big businesses. Small companies like me, we don't affect the economy. We don't affect inflation. We're just following the trends.
So
Now
now,
again,
I'm an entrepreneur. I try to figure out things that happen. So is this a wave to go on made in America products? Should we be looking at not dealing with any overseas companies? Can we make what we need to make? We used to make stuff here, and during the Democratic administration, during the Clinton time, they start shipping stuff overseas. Companies start closing, unions start losing power, and now we're stuck counting on countries that we don't even get along with. So is it time to say New Orleans Bills potato salad made in America?
well, being realistic, shoot, half of the stuff that's in America made it. Half of the stuff you buy in America at some point came from China or India,
Well,
or some
today, but
part
I'm
of it.
saying before it wasn't. So now I'm saying, even though now it can't, today, yeah, half the stuff comes from China, India, Korea. But if we just stop right now and start growing our
Well,
own wheat, start growing all of the whatever it is we need, can we go
well,
on a made in America campaign?
well. Number one, if you do that, can you compete financially? If you're buying like the
Because we have
label,
unions, prices are higher. Yeah.
okay, you got labels for my product. I have to put a label on each package of Creole potato salad mix. The labels in America may cost me, and I'm just pulling numbers out of the sky, as an
Right. Okay.
example, they may cost me 25 cents a label, and I got to have a front and a back label. If I go to China or India and get it, that same label may cost me 15 cents for each one. So that's 10, 20 cents less it would cost me for each bag of Creole potato salad mix. Multiply that by, if I sell
20, 30
10,000 of them every few months, 10,000 of them times 20 cents. You've also got the bag that the mix goes in. Same thing. It might be 20%, 30% cheaper to get it overseas. And I'm a small business. It's hard enough for me to compete with the big boys. And then all of a sudden, if I'm making everything in America, and my prices are higher and the big boys are still buying stuff from overseas, I can't compete. I mean, I've had it happen to me where my product was better sitting on the shelf in the supermarket, better than my competitor. People would taste it and love it, but they look at the price, and the price of my competitor, which was a big major company, their price was like 30% cheaper.
Yeah.
And I know part of it is because they can buy in bulk, but also because they're getting a lot of that stuff from overseas. So what am I supposed to do? My customers are not going to say, well, Bill, your product's, even though your product's 30% higher, I'm going to get it from you anyway because it's made in America. I mean, some people will do it, but I dare say the majority of people, it's hard now. You know, people watching their dollars and their pennies, and they're trying to save money wherever they can. So you can't really expect them to pay more from your product just because it's a made in America product. I don't know how long you'll be in business if you don't compete dollars and cents wise,
Okay.
price wise.
When I listen to the NBCs and the CBSs and the CNNs and the news, they talk about the recession coming, and then you see the gas prices go up to almost $7 here in California. They go down to $5, and then they're headed back up a little over $6. And people are looking to save money, but I look at amusement parks here in Southern California. It costs $125 a person to go to a major amusement park, and they are packed out every weekend. In fact, some of them are limiting the number of people because they say they're overpacked. They used to overpack them before the pandemic, and now they limit it to this is full. So my theory is that people spend money on what they want to spend money on. I have a charter school, and we're going to take a short break here and play a commercial. And our charter school is for at-risk kids, people in areas that didn't finish high school, that are receiving some type of county recipient of this or that. But all of my students have Apple phones, all of them, and the new phone that's out is over $2,000, I'm hearing. And I had 3 students in my class yesterday that were comparing the brand new $2,000 phone, they had it in their hands, to the $1,000 phone that they bought a year ago. And they still got both of them. It's difficult for me, and I know times are hard. I see the homeless, I see the food stamps, I see this and I see that. But at the same time, I see the poorest people with cable, big screens, and all of the amenities that make you comfortable at home or on the go. So I'm not sure I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier, marketing. If you market it, if you got a mass marketing budget, and you can remember the old car guy, what was his name? Cal Worthington.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was on TV all night long, but he sold a lot of cars, overpriced, then he financed them overpriced or whatever the case may be. But if you have a marketing budget, does it really matter what the cost is? Because the jingle in the commercial is what sells the potato salad.
Well, yeah. Well, number one, to me, there's always going to be people who know how to manipulate the system, whether they're poor or whatever. There's always going to be some people out there who know how to manipulate the system. Not saying that they're doing something crooked, but they just know how to manipulate the system. And they may have some of these comforts, but they don't have any real assets. They just have what I call the quick and easy things, the cell phone you can get, the big screen TV you can get, and they may be getting it in a way that I wouldn't get it, let's just say. But
off the back of the truck, I hear you.
I'm not gonna say that. But
which is why the TV that you and I buy costs more, because one of them fell off the back of the truck.
Well, yeah, I can see that. But I look at a lot of the people I grew up around who were honest, good, hardworking people, and they never could get anywhere. And they were always taken advantage of by, quote, the system.
Mm-hmm.
And price-wise, you can market any price. You can market anything. I mean, the whole business game is marketing. You look at pro sports, look at pro football, pro basketball. Everybody, these players are making all this money, and but they're making all this money because businesses are willing to pay these pro teams all these advertising dollars to market their product at these games, and especially on TV. If Kentucky Fried Chicken is marketing their product on the Rams games, they can reach millions of people in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when it comes down to entertainment, we are an entertainment-driven society. And a lot of people will sacrifice what maybe they should be sacrificing to buy what they want, entertainment-wise. And sometimes food falls into the entertainment category.
Yeah.
So if you're watching the game or something, and you're with all your buddies, and everybody's looking for something to eat watching the game.
You're gonna need all of that. You're gonna need some chicken wings, and you're gonna go out and drop a couple of $100, and And that's not even counting the alcohol or any drinks or anything. But
Yeah.
as we start trying to wrap this up, I'm going to take a short commercial break, and then I want you to tell people how they can get a hold of your product.
One of the secrets to exposure for your business lies within supporting Black businesses and entrepreneurs. And that is why the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce is here to connect Black businesses from the desert to the sea. Let's join hands to empower and sustain our community. By becoming a member of the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, you can grow your business and increase your clientele. With our innovation, we'll generate new businesses and get new customers. And we'll connect new mindsets with businesses from across Southern California to help bridge the wealth gap. Let's connect, build, and grow together. Join us now at blackchamberofcommerce.org.
And we're back. We've been just about an hour with Mr. William Washington here from the New Orleans Bills potato salad, which is a fantastic item. All you need is your own potato, but I was eating it when you didn't need a potato. It was pretty good. But I was going to ask you, before you tell them how to get it, you say you have to put the potato in the microwave. Is potato salad a cold food or a hot food?
Well, no, it's a cold food. Originally, I was selling my salad to the supermarkets as a ready-to-eat salad, where you just buy and stick a spoon in it and eat it. But I did that for 25 years, and most products in the supermarkets don't last no more than 3 or 4 years. I mean, unless you're one of the big boys, the Pillsbury company or the big, real huge companies. But after 25 years, I had to make a decision, especially when the pandemic hit. Do I keep spending all these marketing dollars and marketing time promoting a product that is not generating the same sales as it did before? So I just made the decision, okay, well, I'm going to focus my marketing dollars and time on a product that's more in tune with the current day and time. The pandemic hit, people weren't going to the supermarkets. They were staying home. So I needed a product that they could buy without leaving home. The ready-to-eat potato salad had to be refrigerated. Shipping anything refrigerated is hella expensive because, number one, you have to ship it overnight. And then you got to have the ice and the special packaging and all that. So I said, well, you know what? And this is something I had been working on before the pandemic. I need a Creole potato salad mix that people can do themselves at home, just like they do the jambalaya mixes, the gumbo mixes, the red beans and rice mixes, all that other New Orleans food. And I had been working on it for years. But once the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, and my sales were going down anyway after 25 years. I'm going to focus on this entirely. So what I did was, everything you do nowadays, especially with this generation, they want it quick and easy, easy.
Fast.
To make a potato salad, generally you got to boil the potatoes, which means you got to put them in the water and wait 45 minutes to an hour or whatever. You got to chop up all the vegetables, the onions, the bell peppers, and all that other stuff. So what I did was, and I'm not going to give away all my proprietary secrets, but I found a way to package the vegetables in a special package where they'll last a year. And then with the potatoes, people don't want to sit down there and wait on potatoes to boil. I found a way where you can microwave the potatoes. The key is you put the potatoes on a plate and you wrap the potatoes and the plate together, which seals the potato in, and it keeps the moisture in the potato. And you just put it in the microwave oven for about 3 minutes or until you can stick a fork in it. It's done. It's just as good as boiling potato. And while that potato's microwaving and while it's cooling down, in my mix, you just take my mix, which has all the onions and bell peppers and spices, you pour that in a bowl, put a little mayonnaise in there, and my mix also has the mustards in there. You pour it in the bowl with the mayonnaise, Then when the potatoes cool down about 5 or 6 minutes, you put them all together in a bowl to mix, and that's it. You got it. And now I can ship that anywhere. I can go to fairs and festivals all over the place and sell it. I couldn't sell refrigerated potatoes at fairs and festivals. Well, I could, but it was logistic-wise, it didn't work. And now I can reach customers all over the world.
So tell us what the website is, because we're out of time. And I've enjoyed this morning. I definitely learned something, and people have put some things in the chat that I'll be answering. So what is the website to be able to order?
Okay, it's www.arlenesbill.com, www.arlenesbill.com. But right now we're in the process, we're renovating it and changing it. But I tell everyone, go to it, but it will change in the next week, because we're changing it, we're adding more products to it, and we're changing a little bit of the focus of it, doing things a little differently.
All right, thank you for being on this morning, Brother Bill. I appreciate you, and we will connect out there. I know you're going to get ready to go to Oakland for a big expo coming up, so we'll check you out on the website, and we'll get back to you. I appreciate you being on this morning, and thanks again, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I need to talk to you later, man. There's something I want to talk to you about.